The Fall Guy is in theaters this weekend, guys. It stars Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and it's a good movie. It is. It's a touch long, though, 2 hours and 6 minutes. Well, I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. The synopsis reads, a down-and-out stuntman must find the missing star of his ex-girlfriend's blockbuster film. Yeah, so if you saw my straight out of the theater reaction for this, guys, you know from the trailers and such, it's all about the stunt works. He's the stunt man, and there's a bit of a falling out that happens between him and Emily Blunt. And at times I thought that, okay, this is going to be like a love story kind of thing. But it's like a slapstick kind of popcorn fun flick that happens. Ryan Gosling puts himself all the way out there for this film, and it works for the most part. It does have some pacing issues, for sure. I'll talk about that in just a few minutes as well. But Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt have some great chemistry. If you don't know, I'm a huge fan of Emily Blunt, and they champion the stunts in this. If you like stunt work, you like seeing people put their bodies on the line, it's very Hollywood stunts. It's not Jackie Chan type of stunts, but it's entertaining, and it's worth going to see in the theaters, in my opinions. Okay, let's talk about those pacing issues. Let's talk about what didn't really work for me here, because like it did put a big smile on my face. I sat in the theater last night with my big bag of popcorn. I was like, because this movie, the way that it's written, because they work in the movie industry, the dialogue, they're like shooting off of each other, trying to one-up each other with how much they know about dialogue from famous movies, right? So they'll be like quoting lines and stuff, and they're like, okay, what is that from? What is that from? I recognize what they're saying that from. And it's kind of like, can you catch what all of these ins and outs and Easter eggs are for? And I thought it was, and that added to the fun. That added to the fun for me. Pacing wise, though, there's a big part in this about halfway through where it just completely drops off. And I blame the director there from Bullet Train, David Leitch, for this. A couple of times in the movie, they will be talking about scenes that we just watched. So you'll see him run and jump off a building. He'll land. In the next scene, we've got some dialogue of him saying, I just ran off and jumped off a building. It's like, well, we as the audience know that. So the crafting of the story could have been tighter. There's a couple of scenes in here that felt like it could have been edited. Yes, it's 2 hours and 6 minutes, but it felt like it could have been easily 2 hours and 50 minutes. And, oh, I totally forgot this in my straight out of the theater reaction. Hannah Waddingham knocks it out of the park here. She, like, I think that some people will say that she steals the show. She's really good. And that wig that she's wearing or whatever, I didn't recognize her at first. I was like, oh yeah, right. Hannah Waddingham's in this. And it's good. So what happens, if you don't know from the plot synopsis, he's a stuntman. Aaron Taylor Johnson's the actor that goes missing. And there's a bit of a mystery. Why did he go missing? Why can't we find him? And as he slowly uncovers that mystery, that's basically what the bulk of the story is. It is a little bit muddled at times, though, right? It's kind of like it goes off on some side stuff that they think that is funny. We just saw that Chris Hemsworth talked about his experiences on Thor: Love and Thunder, where he was like, maybe we ad-libbed a little too much in that scene. It got carried away from me and us. And when we tried to, it was fun on set, but when we try to edit it all together, it shifts in tone and it loses its pacing, right? And that's sort of what happens here in The Fall Guy. Now, that normally would be a bad thing, a terrible bad thing. And if somebody says that pacing and everything slows down and it gets drawn out, I can't disagree with it, but I gave it a pass because of Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. In that entire third act, there's a big laugh that comes in the third act, that cameo. I'm not going to destroy it, but it's it's worthwhile seeing. So let's go over to my score sheet and put in some preliminary numbers here, guys. Acting, directing, story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point each. So the acting, guys, it's serviceable. There's nothing Oscar worthy in here. There's nothing in here that makes you go, wow, oh, I want to check that out. It's just, it serves the film. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt do elevate those tedious scenes. They do. Because they're just that good, right? Directing, David Leitch handled all the technical aspects well. All the stunt works, all the stunts that go into the film are executed well. It feels natural and organic. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're just going to do a stunt for the sake of a stunt kind of thing. It's telegraphed. They telegraph the stunts. And if somebody said, well, then you could, it doesn't really fit, James. It felt like, well, no, it's part of the story. The story premise is interesting. It took me a while to realize that it was Winston Duke playing the on-set stunt choreographer. The Winston Duke, the big guy from Black Panther, Wakanda, right? He's in this, and he also does a really good job. So right down the middle there for me right now, for story-wise, I wanted it to be kind of like the TV show where you go into these little mysteries and you try to solve it and figure it out. But about 40 minutes into it, it's like, well, what's the mystery here? What's going on here? And that's what I mean about that kind of flatness in the middle of the film. But just realize, guys, the pacing of it is fairly quick. So when you're watching a dull scene, know that it's not going to carry on for like 2 or 3 minutes. So because of the execution of that, because of the execution of the stunts and stuff, I'll give directing a 1.5. But I got to chop it down because of the story, and I got to chop it down because of those pacing problems. So cinematography is a full point because it's well photographed. It's not the shaky cam kind of stuff that's all over the place. It's got a lot of great needle drops. So the score, the soundtrack is a selling point in this movie for me. It's got a lot of like, oh yeah, no, that's cool. I dig that. Good use of the soundtrack and score. Miami Vice is all I'm going to say, guys. Miami Vice. So it's got like a lot of those inside Easter eggs. Okay, so with that being said, 5.5 is where we're standing right now. Let's go over to the Rotten Tomatometer and see what people are saying about this. See if we're in alignment with some people. Rotten Tomatoes has it at an 86% by 136 reviews by the critics. It's certified fresh. I saw it at an advanced screening last night, so I don't expect any audience numbers to come out, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be around the same mark. I think it's going to be around the 85, in the 80s. It's just fun. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Stephanie Hsu, Winston Duke, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Every time that I saw Aaron Taylor Johnson on screen here, I was just thinking, okay, he's going to be our Bond, right? And they don't really show him too much in the trailers, but every scene that he's doing, yeah, there he is, Tom Ryder. Like, he's going to be our Bond, right? And of course he doesn't like him, but you can see, I was looking at him. Could he be our Bond? Could he be our Bond? Maybe. Okay, back to the snapshot reviews. Let's take a look at what the critics are saying about this. See if we agree with them. Okay. Top critic from The Guardian. A solid serving of popcorn entertainment. Indeed. Fully indeed. New York Times. The Fall Guy is divertingly slick, playful nonsense about a guy who lives to get brutalized again and again, which may be a metaphor for contemporary masculinity and its discontents. through perhaps not. No, perhaps not. What the heck? That's a bit of a word salad towards the end there, isn't it? All right. Let's take a look at some people who didn't like it. Matt Oakes. Gosling and Blunt's chemistry is undeniable. The Fall Guy soaring when the two superstars' charisma flares, creating the film's most surefire pyrotechnics. Nevertheless, Leach mostly fails to ignite the movie around them. Yeah, he Leach his inadequacies. Maybe I will chop down directing then, back down to one. That point is well taken. His execution of the story is not all that good. But they had fun making it. I don't know. Detroit News didn't like it. The Fall Guys final act is so convoluted and not even Gosling can keep it on the rails. When the Fall Guy fails, it falls hard. No, the third act is probably the best part of the film. What are you talking about? Because it's all stunts. Yeah, it's silly. And it's weird that I just published like a small little treatise about silliness in movies, guys. Okay, no, that's a good example. You know how I just talked about silliness in movies? And I put up 3 examples. Argyle, The Beekeeper, and Boy Kills World. And they were vastly different in the types of silliness that they brought, but I liked them all. The Beekeeper was more serious in tone. Like it took itself seriously, right? But it was like, yeah, it's cardboard characters. No single guy can walk into a building and blow things up, like in The Beekeeper. The Fall Guy is not like The Beekeeper in that kind of aspect. The Fall Guy is a little bit more like Argyle, if you know what I mean, in that kind of tone. So expect that. That's the best way that I could probably explain that. So a little bit more like Argyle, a little bit not quite like Beekeeper, if that clarifies anything for you guys. Where were we? Where were we? Did we get what Jeremy John said about this? Did I go over him? Because he's usually posted, and I want to see his. Uh, oh well. I don't want to spend here a whole lot of time looking over it. If he was there, if the powers that be upstairs wanted us to see him, then I'm sure that they would have. Associated Press top critic with the self-referential humor. Yeah, there's lots of that, guys. The industry jokes and the promise of a little romance. It feels like one of those movies we all complain they don't make anymore. Well, I just gave you an example of some of them. Somebody who didn't like it. No, we're not going to use that one. Not somebody from Spain. Eric Estrada. What? Independent from the UK. If the film results in stunt performers gaining a little more respect from the public, then that's ideal. If it merely reminds them how likable Gosling is, that's good too. Yeah, Gosling, he shows that he's multifaceted as an actor. Like it's nothing like his performance in say Blade Runner 2049 or anything, but that's how versatile he is. All right, I'm not seeing Jeremy Johns, but whatever. Maybe I passed over him. Okay, Matt Donato liked it. Okay, he's somebody that we know. A fun-filled, fun-living love letter to the undervalued stunt performance profession. It's full-geared popcorn entertainment that only someone wholly passionate about stunt work could ever deliver. And you guys know that I always champion in all of our watch-alongs and stuff. I champion stunt work and the work that goes into all that stuff. So, 85% by the critics. Is that where I'm going to land finally after I do some tinkering with my reviews? Watchability factor is definitely a 1 if you want to see it in theater. Yeah, because of the sound and everything, guys. You got to check it out for that. But I would totally watch this again. So I'll give 1.5 for that. And that's where we're sitting at 7 out of 10 for the Fall Guy. Yeah. Because a lot of that story issues do bog it down. There is, when I was watching it, there is, I think, a better cut of this film that would have made it tighter and maybe a little bit more serious in tone. so that it would have been a little bit more like The Beekeeper as opposed to Argyle. But I had fun with both of those, and I had fun with this one. So it's kind of like there was an opportunity in there to have a more serious kind of film, more kind of like the live action Miami Vice, if you ever saw that. Like there was an opportunity to have that for this film. Um, but I enjoyed it anyway, guys. It was a lot of fun. 7 out of 10 for The Fall Guy. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below if you will go see it this weekend. I had fun with it. All right, guys. Hey, if you like talking about movies and stuff, you like this kind of stuff, we do this live. We are a live show, so I'll prove that to you by taking some live comments. Byfer says Travis Knight makes terrible movies. Arglass Viking says, I enjoyed seeing Ryan Gosling on Jimmy Kimmel. He sells it. Yeah, and Ryan Gosling's been out selling this stuff, guys. He does a lot of really cool things for the promotional materials for this film. So as I said, if you like this kind of stuff, come join us here on Mirror Domains. What else can you find? Trailer reactions for things like Deadpool and Wolverine, Atlas, with J-Lo, The Watchers that comes out this month, right? Full series reactions for series like Fallout and Reacher, 2 great series. Movie reviews for Abigail, Civil War, full movie reactions for like Roadhouse. And then, of course, we do movie news headlines throughout the week where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, and we do it live. So you guys will always have opportunities to interact. All right, if you liked what you've seen, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. You're watching Mirror Domains. All right, that'll be cut out and put up on the channel later on. Pfeiffer says, cool review. Thanks, man. Thanks. Okay. I just wanted to get that out of the way first because we're going to be talking about